Welcome, my friends. If you are short on time but you'd like a quick therapeutic stretch, go ahead and take this class. This is 30 minutes to cultivate health and happiness. Have a great day. Enjoy. All right, my friends. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, my name is Jamie, and welcome to a slice of my living room in Michigan. And this is going to be a 30-minute Yin Yoga flow. We're roughly going to do about 2 or 3 Yin Yoga poses, with a short meditation at the end. Nice shirt, nice fun shirt. Thank you. It's very colorful. So I like to use positive affirmations for my classes, and we will have a short reading at the end that will support that. And if you would like some bolster or some props for your body for today's practice, go ahead and grab those. I'm going to cue at least a blanket if you have a throw blanket, and 2 blocks and a bolster. If you do not have a bolster, go ahead and grab a couple bed pillows and stack them together, or a couple couch pillows. And if you don't have blocks, grab a couple really thick books, because all that stuff works. I know I've used it many times in my day. All right. So if you're new to Yin, it's a really deep meditative practice, and most of it is on the floor, either laying down, seated, or on our belly. Okay, so let's meet on the mat, folks. Move that ball out of the way. I have my windows open, so maybe some birds or at least some rain. There's a little chipmunk that might come through. I'm going to cue a forward fold for our first one. So if you want to go ahead and grab your folded blanket and just place your blanket on your mat, we're just going to sit on that. We're going to lift our pelvis up. Go ahead and get nice and comfortable on your blanket. Shift your glutes somewhere on that blanket where it's going to feel supportive for you. Sometimes I have a tendency to scooch my glutes closer to the edge of the mat, but really just find a space that works for you. And then from here, just check in with the backs of your knees. If you feel really stiff this morning, go ahead and take some blocks and place them underneath the backs of your knees. Just keeping a bend here can really make a difference. Just throwing that out there. And if you have a bolster or a couple stacked pillows, go ahead and just lay them on our lap. But from here, extend those legs out long and make sure the feet are accommodating to the hips. You can do this forward fold with your feet wide, at least hip distance, or closer together. Really just find your sweet spot here. Placing this bolster on our lap. Or if just sitting up nice and tall feels good, go ahead and stay here. But if you'd like a little bit more, just gently exhale as you forward fold. Really just find your sweet spot here. If it happens to be the morning for you, know that you might be a little bit more stiff. Check in with the backs of those knees if they need to be bent to offer a little bit more support. It can be a little bend or a big bend. We just don't want to go into the full extension of the pose right away. We want to give about half effort here. Unclench your jaw. Place your tongue at the bottom of your mouth. Soften your cheeks and the space between your eyebrows. Drop them shoulders down. And just relax as much as you can. I know easier said than done. Let's remain in stillness for as long as we can. Yin is a very deep meditative practice. We really want to focus on our breath through this entire experience. We want to really focus on what it feels like to breathe in through the nose. And you can either breathe out through the nose or out through the mouth. Yogi's choice. Just find your breath here. And I invite you to repeat to yourself, I welcome health and happiness into my life. I welcome health and happiness into my life. We're just going to say little nice things to ourselves for this time we have together. If you don't like that mantra today, you can go ahead and repeat to yourself, I am safe, or simply today is going to be a good day. Or tonight's going to be a good night, whatever it is for you. And as you give half effort in your poses, if it feels all right for you, you can go ahead and start to sink just a little bit deeper. I welcome health and happiness into my life. And go ahead and seal it with a great big smile today. Let's just put a couple nice things out into the universe today, shall we? A few more breaths here. And when you're feeling ready, if you're folded over, ever so gently pushing yourself back up really nice and slow. The slower, the better. Move that bolster or those pillows and blocks out of the way. And go ahead, we're going to lean back on our hands here and bend our knees up towards the sky. Just bend one leg at a time, moving really nice and slow. And we're just going to add a wiper here. In a wiper, our bodies sometimes have a tendency to scooch forward. So if you do scooch off your blanket, that's okay. Just kind of adjust. But from here, knees bent up towards the sky, leaning back on our hands. Feet can either be flat on the earth, at least hip distance apart, or you can be up on your heels. Great big inhale through the nose. Exhale, drop those knees to the right. Inhaling, knees back to center. Exhale, drop them to the left. And just go ahead and flow this out on your own, moving fast or slow. Just really observing sensations. Maybe it was a long day for you and it's your nighttime, and this will help relax you for bed. Or maybe you're just waking up, greasing the wheels again for the day. Once more. And release. And just as a transition, let's go ahead and scooch this blanket out. Just for a couple breaths, let's take a child's pose of your choice. Scooching our blanket off to the side. If you're low back, if you're feeling a lot of tension in your low back and your hips, go ahead. We're going to place our big toes together, shifting our glutes on our heels, and our knees can be together. And exhale, come to rest on your forearms. Sometimes this can give you just enough to get that low back feeling just a little bit better. Or if you'd like, go ahead and put the knees wide. Option to either come to rest on your forearms, or you can extend your arms out long and rest on your forehead. Really just choose what works for you. We're just going to be here a few breaths. Once more. And release. And gently release by shifting into a tabletop position. One more transition before we hold. Just making sure we're on all fours here and all of our joints are stacked. Our hips are in line with our knees. Those shoulders are in line with our wrists. Our fingertips are spread nice and wide. Putting the bulk of the weight on those knuckle pads and your thumb pad. If you do feel any sort of discomfort on the wrist, option to come down to your forearms if you'd like. But from here, one last option, you can curl your toes if you'd like or not. When you're feeling ready, we're going to inhale, drop that belly as that tailbone is lifted up towards the sky. Option to look down at your mat or gently look forward, whatever the neck allows. And we're going to exhale, round the back here, chin to chest. And also just move intuitively in this pose. Move in any little extra way that feels right for your body as we sneak in a few cat-cows. There's no right or wrong way here. We just don't want to feel any pain. Be really mindful of your body and really listen to the sensations. Last time. And release. And let's go in for one more little hip circles here. Go ahead and shift those glutes back towards the right, butt towards your heels. Gently swing those hips to the left. Inhale, coming up in a circle, coming up to top. There's going to be more weight in your hands than in your knees. Just doing a nice circle at our own pace, saying good morning to them hips or good night to the hips. And then go ahead and reverse that circle, go in the opposite direction. Moving really nice and slow. Both of our hips feel very different. Once more. And release. And from here, let's go in for a half saddle position. We just want to target those hip flexors. And go ahead and grab your bolster or your stacked pillows. If you prefer full saddle, go ahead and take that. But there's a few different ways. So from our seated position, just extend those legs out long like a staff pose first. Option to take that bolster or those stacked pillows and place it behind your pelvis. And from here, just go ahead and pick whichever leg you'd like to start with. We're going to extend one leg long with a gentle flex in the toe. The opposite leg, we are bending at the knee, placing the foot behind us. Taking that hand and rolling that calf out, roll that calf out towards your wall. And just check in with this back foot. You don't want to fuss with it too much. It's really just going to lay how your anatomy allows. And option one, if this feels okay, you can just go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Option two, if you'd like a little bit more, you can lean back on your hands. If you lean back on your hands, lift that pelvis up a little bit. Or option three, you can go ahead and lay down on your bolster. When you lay down on your bolster, you will allow your body to also get a chest stretch here. Just arms out to the side where they're comfortable. And just sink into this position. If you hear that, I think that's the sound of my husband taking the trash bin to the end of the driveway. And just scan your body. Notice anywhere where you're holding tight and clenching, and allow yourself to release just a little bit if you can. And I invite you to list one thing that you're truly grateful for today, whatever it may be. We just want to acknowledge a small slice of joy that made us feel good. And if you haven't been awake long enough to feel a small slice of joy yet, maybe just connecting with people from all over the world in this class. If you can reach your foot at all, you can go ahead and give it a tiny massage with one of your hands if you'd like. Just a few more breaths here. Breathing nice and deeply. Take the biggest breath you've taken yet. And when you're feeling ready, we're going to gently come out. Go ahead, tuck that chin to the chest, engage that core, using your hands to push yourself up really nice and slow. Always the slower the better is my motto. And once you get to the seated position, take your hands and just grab that bent leg and bring that leg forward. Go ahead, extend them long, give them a good shake here. Notice if your legs feel kind of different at the moment, or just notice sensations anyways. And release. And before we get to the second side, let's add a wiper. Go ahead, roll the shoulders up and back, leaning back on our hands, bending at the knees, placing our feet at least hip distance apart. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, drop those knees to the right. Inhaling back up. Exhale, drop the knees to the left. And just go ahead and flow this out on your own, moving fast or slow. Once more. And release. And from here, let's go into our half saddle on the second side. Just go ahead and extend those legs long first, gentle flex in the toes. And keep that opposite leg extended long this time. Bending the other leg, putting that foot on the side but behind us. Take your hands, roll that calf out towards your wall. Just check in with your knees. Make sure that bent knee is going straight down towards the edge of your mat here. And then option one, if it feels good just to sit up like this, nice and tall, go ahead and stay here. Option two, we can lean back on our hands a little bit. Inhale that pelvis up ever so slightly. Or option 3, go ahead and lay down on your bolsters or your pillows. And just sink into this sensation here. And I invite you to repeat to yourself, I welcome health and happiness into my life. I welcome health and happiness into my life. Just go ahead and repeat that to yourselves as many times as necessary. Of course, we all want health and happiness, but sometimes just saying it out loud or saying it in our head, just putting it out there for the universe, can be nice. And tomorrow's a full moon, the super moon of the month. Unclench your jaw. Scan your body as much as you can here. If you can reach your foot with one of your hands, you can go ahead and give that guy just a little massage if you'd like. Just a little added extra, a little mind-body connection. Really feel that breath moving in your body right now. Notice the belly rise as you inhale. And feel that breath travel past your ribs and your chest. And coming out the back of your throat. Just a few more breaths here. Last breath. And when you're feeling ready, we're going to gently come out. Go ahead, tuck that chin to the chest, engage that core, using your hands to push yourself up really slow. And once you get to seated to the top of the mat, go ahead and just grab that leg and guide it forward. And just give those legs a good shake here. And from here, if there's any last little minute pose calling your name that you'd like to take for a breath or two before our final Shavasana, go ahead and take that. Any breath at all, or any pose at all. I think I'm going to go in for a little wind pose and then happy baby. Just if there's anything to seal off your practice today, just for a breath or two. And release when you're feeling ready. An option to come into that final Shavasana, either laying down on the ground, or you can go ahead and take it seated. If it's morning time for you, you might want to take it seated so you don't fall asleep. Sometimes yin can be a fine line in the morning. Option to stick with your meditative breath or let it go, yogi's choice. Think of this mantra as an invitation to health and happiness. Sometimes you have to invite these qualities into your life to remind yourself that they exist and that you are deserving of them. By reciting this mantra, you would open up the doorway to welcome health and happiness into your life so that you can feel joyful, abundant, and full of life. Even though you don't really need to invite these things into your life, they're already there. You might need to rediscover them. This mantra encourages you to do just that. As you welcome health and happiness back into your life, make a list of all the things that actually make you feel happy and healthy. Making this list helps you to reflect on what fills your cup. This process also directs your awareness towards what you bring more of into your life. When you embrace all the things that enrich your life and bring you feelings of health and joy, you will feel more connected to these states of being. This, in turn, will align your energetic vibrations so that you may receive even more health and happiness. Know that this time that you take for your self-care will have a positive impact on you mentally, physically, and spiritually. You can go ahead, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Bring any last little minute movement into the body. And if you happen to be laying down, go ahead and come up into a seated position to seal out our practice together. From our seated position, go ahead, inhale those arms up, taking all that good energy we just created. Exhale down, leave behind what you no longer need today. And again, inhaling arms up, fingertips to touch. And go ahead, roll your wrists in one direction on the way down. Last time, inhaling those arms up. And go ahead and roll your wrists in the opposite direction on the way down. Bringing our hands together in prayer position in front of the heart space. Give gratitude to yourself first and to your practice. I'd like to thank you for sharing your time, your energy, and your practice with me. Let's take one last cleansing breath together. Big inhale through the nose. Loud, audible exhale, let it out. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be at peace. Namaste.